Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Holland. I am one of the assistant directors for UCF undergraduate admissions. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our student panel. We have several of our current UCF students joining us. They are going to go ahead and do their introductions in just a moment. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we will get those questions to our panelists tonight. But we will go ahead and start with Miranda for our introductions.
Hey guys, my name is Miranda. I am originally from Venezuela, but I come from South Florida. I'm a junior studying marketing with a minor in digital media and international business. And apart from being an ambassador, I am also a brother of Delta Sigma Pi, which is a co-ed business professional fraternity. I'm also an ambassador with UCF Global, and I'm also a member of the Latin American Student Association and the American Marketing Association.
And Hector?
My name is Hector. I'm currently a senior at UCF studying economics with a minor in sports business management. Besides giving campus tours, I'm also involved in my sports business club for my minor, and I'm originally from Carteret, New Jersey.
And Desiree?
Hello, everyone. My name is Desiree Davis. I am from West Orlando, Florida. I am a graduating senior. I'm a proud member of the sophisticated Sigma Epsilon chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, which is a part of the National Panhellenic Council, which is also referred to as the Divine Nine. Some of my other campus involvements, I am on the National Panhellenic Council Executive Board as the internal vice president, and also have been a member of the Black Student Union, the Black Female Development Circle, and a few other organizations that we'll talk about tonight.
Emily?
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily. I'm a junior studying psychology with a minor in human services, and I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida. Outside of giving campus tours, I'm involved in Greek life as well. I was also a part of the Lead Scholars Academy, and I was a UCF Care Ambassador.
And Oscar?
Hello, everyone. I'm Oscar. I'm currently a senior in information technology. I am from Venezuela, and I moved here to the States in 2016. Besides being an undergraduate ambassador, I'm also involved in the Venezuelan Student Association, the Society of Sales Engineers, and the Hispanic Professional Engineer Society. So, pretty involved.
I was going to say, all of our students here joining us tonight are very involved. So if you have any questions, please ask away. They are very, very involved on campus, and they would love to answer your questions tonight. So my first question to you all is going to be, what made you choose UCF?
Can I take a stab at this one?
Yeah.
Again. So I want to start off by I'm a UCF Legacy. So both of my parents graduated from the University of Central Florida. So I already knew I wanted to come to the university off rip. But being recruited out of high school for shot put and discus, I got a lot of different offers and applied to a lot of different Florida schools. And UCF, once they put me in a program called the SOAR program. Once I got accepted, like choosing UCF was literally like a no-brainer. Coming to the campus, it was, so open. Had so many different places to live, so many different places to go as a freshman. They had a lot of different resources on campus. And the program that I did begin in I was going to be a psychology major, and UCF has one of the top psychology programs in the nation, honestly. So I was already ready to go. And as soon as I came on campus, I felt that Knight fever and Knight Nation, and I felt at home. And just how my parents carry themselves, that legacy was a lot for me. So that went into my decision.
For me, that's really interesting. Quite the opposite, actually. I am a first-generation student, so I didn't quite know where I wanted to go. I wasn't really sure where I was looking at. But I toured UCF once, and I absolutely fell in love with the school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to major in, so coming to a school that was really big and had lots of options and opportunities to choose from was really attractive to me as an incoming student. And also just located in Orlando, there is so much to do here outside of school and inside of school when it comes to internships and jobs and co-ops, etc. So it was really a no-brainer when it came to choosing UCF for me too.
For me, I'm going to steal exactly what Miranda said. It was basically the same thing. I'm coming to a school where there's a lot of opportunities for students, and coming into college, I didn't really know what I wanted to major in yet, so I came in undecided. and there was plenty of options for me to explore once I got here. The campus was also a huge thing. I toured here my sophomore year of high school, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So that was another thing, and it's only like 15 minutes away from my house, so it's another close to home. So those are my reasons.
I would say for mine, I'm a little particular because I'm an international student. So not only I had to adapt to like college life, but I also adapt to like America. So what really made UCF for me was the fact that it was so open to everybody. We had people from other backgrounds, different histories, different states, different countries, different races, and they're all so welcoming and they all interact with each other, all in the same pot, which is UCF. And the fact that you can meet people from all around the world, different cultures, with different backgrounds, that felt like I was fitting in, regardless of where I was coming from, and I still feel welcome to this day. So, I still choose UCF to this day.
All right. Did you face any challenges finding friends or finding your place in campus freshman year? If so, how did you overcome those challenges?
So I can take this one to start off with. I always like to be really honest when people ask questions like this, just because I did struggle a lot with the transition from high school to college, a lot more than I thought I would. I was super homesick freshman year, and I found myself a lot of times comparing my college experience to some other friends at different colleges. But it is completely normal to not love college right away. And I would say I overcame the homesickness and maybe not loving UCF right away just through time. Every semester it gets easier. Every semester you get more comfortable with yourself. You're able to make more friends. You get to know the campus a little bit better. You also kind of find yourself academically speaking, so you figure out the professors you do enjoy. If you prefer hardcover textbooks, PDF textbooks, it just takes some time to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't. But it's definitely doable. And like I said, it's totally normal if you get to college and you aren't in love with it right away.
Yeah, for me, I would definitely, recommend just putting yourself out there and getting involved early. I know for me, the first organization that I joined was the Latin American Student Association, and I wanted to join that because I wanted to surround myself around other Latinos and get to know people. And it was a great decision right off the bat because it put me out of my comfort zone, and you're going to be put out of your comfort zone, but it pushed me to have to introduce myself to other people and make the first move in, asking people to hang out or meet outside of an organization. And I feel like that's like the biggest tip that I can give is put yourself in those situations where you're the one approaching other people, because you'll be surprised. A lot of people their freshman year are nervous to, talk to people and get to know each other. So if you take that first step in the process of meeting someone, you're already ahead.
Yeah, let me add on to that, to the involvement that you mentioned. Definitely getting involved in clubs is the best way to do it. You get to interact with people that are interested in the same thing as you are. So it makes it a lot easier for you to interact with each other. There are also cultural clubs, like she was mentioning, the Association, but there's many of them for different countries, like Venezuelan Student Association, Brazilian, Peruvian, Colombian. There's plenty of Peruvian. So whichever ethnicity you could see there yourself from, or even if you don't, you want to make Brazilian friends, go ahead, do it. They're open for everybody, and that's the beauty of UCF. Like the fact that you could just interact with anybody, just like normal. So just go and talk to people. That's the best way to do it.
And you've all mentioned clubs, organizations. You're also heavily involved. How do you get involved in these different clubs and organizations at UCF?
I can take a stab at that one. So definitely taking advantage of the opportunities that UCF provides. So I know in the beginning of the semesters, opening night, when you have just so many different things going on. I know this year was virtual, but normally the student union is jam-packed with organizations tabling, and they're literally doing backflips. They're giving popcorn out, giving out so many different, cards, brochures. They're like, sign up for this committee, and you didn't even join the organization yet. So definitely taking advantage of that. And also just doing a quick research. UCF has over 600 organizations. And that is literally what they stress at orientation. And they're like, there's a chocolate club, there's this club. So there is a club for you, whether you like gaming, whether you like anime, whether you like just getting pretty, whether you want to join a sorority, a fraternity, whether you don't know what you want to do, you just want to be a part of a group of people. So definitely taking advantage of everything that UCF has to offer, because they literally are throwing organizations at us as soon as we walk through the door, because they want us involved.
And I also want to add up to that you could find you could find virtually all the clubs that you'd be interested in through Knight Connect. It's kind of like a Google search, but for UCF club, you could find whatever you're into. Like, for example, there was one time that there was a group interested in equestrian clubs. I didn't know it existed until we went ahead and like search it not only on Google but also on Knight Connect. So if you're interested in any kinds of things, just go search it up on Knight Connect or Google. It might even show up. So there you go.
Now, what is college life like for an out-of-state student? Oscar.
Why is everybody looking at me? Okay, so as an out-of-state student, honestly, it doesn't feel that crazy as you may think, because there's a lot of us too. Like, there's a lot of national, there's a lot of out-of-states, not only from different countries, but also different cities. Justin is one of our ambassadors. Megan is one of our ambassadors. They are from Boston. They're from Maine. They're from all over the country. So we all have the same boat as you are. There's a lot of out-of-state students. Sure, tuition is a little more expensive, but when you do the math, in out-of-state tuition in UCF is might even cheaper than in-state tuition in some other states. So you get a ton of value for what you're getting here in UCF. And honestly, you get used to it pretty quickly. And if you hate the cold, hey, this is the place for you, because there's no winter. Like, the winter you get is like January, February, and it's just breezy. That's it. So you will definitely love it up here or down here.
Now, how do most students get around on campus? Can you bring a bike from home? Are freshmen allowed to have a car on campus?
So I can take this one. So you can definitely have a bike. They have bike racks all around campus. We also have shuttles. So we have a shuttle, the black and gold shuttle, and it literally goes all around campus. So as a freshman, I didn't come in with a car. So literally I just, they gave us like the black and gold schedule. They told us about it, and all I had to do was quickly look up on, the UCF website, and the stops were right there. You just get on and you can literally ride all day, and until you're tired. And it will take you to different stations around campus that's close to either a building or close to your dorms and things of that nature. Also, UCF has a lot of Hello?
All right, I think you're good now.
Okay. They also have steps, which is if you are feeling unsafe late at night and the shuttle has stopped running, they will send you an escort to walk you to your dorm or give you a ride to your dorm, or something like that. And then they have a shuttle that also goes to Publix every Tuesday, I believe. And it stops at every dormitorium, and it will pick you up, take you to Publix, and then you'll wait, and then they'll take you back. So you can have a car on campus. You just please get a decal. You don't want tickets. But definitely you can have a car on campus, and you park where you're authorized to park, where students can park. So yeah, definitely you can get around UCF. And if you need a workout, just walk. It's a huge campus, so you can walk as well. So either or.
Thank you, Desiree. Now, what are some typical freshman gen ed classes that you've taken?
I've taken an intro to biology. Didn't really like that class. Knew that wasn't for me. I don't like science. I took a couple history classes. It was like 5 years ago. I'm not kind of blanking. Is anybody else? No?
Well, when you're figuring out your schedule as a freshman, you get a form that shows all the gen eds that you need to take and all the requirements for all the different sections. That will list them, and usually the most popular ones on there to take. I know for me, I took English 1, English 2. I took theater survey as one of my arts classes, which I really liked. That was online, but really interesting to learn about. I took physics. I'm not a science person whatsoever. That was also online. I won't lie. I struggled a little, but I got through it, and so you can too. So you can go on there and just go through all the classes and see what it makes you interested in each of those sections.
Now, how did you all plan out your class schedules for the week? What would you recommend for spreading them out or selecting what works best for you?
So the beauty of college is that there is a lot of flexibility when you're choosing your classes. So I always bring up how last year I was actually able to manipulate my schedule. So I only had classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I had time to work. I had time to do some schoolwork. I could travel if I needed to, go home for a weekend. So you have a lot of flexibility when choosing your classes. I would say if you are wondering if you should spread classes out or if you should get all your classes done in one day, it kind of just depends on you as a student and what you prefer. I really enjoyed only meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that did mean I had to actually spend time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays and really make sure I got my work done on the days that I didn't have class. So it just kind of depends on you as a student.
And I think it also has to do with a lot of trial and error. The more you the more time you spend in your degree, the more you know yourself. Like I used to think that morning classes were not for me, and I would always take class at like 1 or 3 p.m. And I then realized that learning classes in the morning allowed me to retain information a lot easier. So, and I learned that through like my sophomore year. So it takes a little time, but once you get the gist of it, it just gets so much easier after that.
All right. What are the internship opportunities like? Where do you find these internship opportunities? And if any of you have had any internships, where were they and what were they like?
Ooh, this is definitely a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Internships normally are, oh God, hello?
You're
Can
good.
you hear me? Oh, okay. Internships normally are suggested for juniors and seniors because you've chosen your major, you kind of want to get your feet wet in your field. So I definitely would recommend you kind of waiting a little bit. But you can get internships from your professor off LinkedIn, sometimes through your organizations. And I know specifically you can get internships through your major. So I know currently for my major, we have to do an internship to graduate. So this semester, the social work program, they match us up with organizations and we have an internship with them and we have a set amount of internship hours. So maybe the major that you are going to choose will give you an internship already. And currently I internship for UCP, which is a inclusion-based charter school that integrates children with disabilities or IEPs with other children that may not, that may learn the traditional way. So, and that was through my program. So it just differs from case by case basis, but definitely through your major is where I hear a lot of where the internships come from.
I feel like a great place as well to look is actually a platform called Handshake. So it's kind of like a job board site and it is open to all UCF students regardless of what their major is. And there's basically a list of jobs, part-time, full-time, internships, co-ops, etc. that you can apply to that are open to UCF students. So it's a great way to kind of like figure out what it is that like the companies are on there. You can put in your major and it'll show up exactly what they're looking for as a marketing major. Personally, for me, if you're an engineering major, you can just start engineering and engineering ones will come up. So really good platform that I know I've used before. I've applied to Disney through there, etc. So there's amazing companies on there.
Do not sleep on the internships. Coming from a senior that is about to graduate now, I wish I did more research when it comes to internships, so you could have experience under your belt by the time you graduate. So whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, it's never too early to start on it. Okay.
All right. Now, how early do you have to get to campus to get good parking? It's a real question. This is like the nitty-gritty right here.
Well, I used to come early in the morning, usually like around 9 or 10. By then, you're probably going to be struggling a little bit. So if you want to come early, definitely do. Usually people with 7 o'clock classes are going to get the best parking. So that's good. And then also a little bit after lunch, when people start leaving campus, that's also a good time to find some parking. So if you like afternoon classes, you're probably going to be better off. Night classes, you always find parking. So good advice there.
Yes, and I would definitely recommend take that into your time for getting ready. So if you know you have a 1:30 class or something like that, you don't want to cut it close and say, oh, I have 5 minutes for parking. That's fine. I definitely recommend that you give yourself, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you know it's a really, really busy day and a heat in the moment day. And also that goes with normally if you're taking morning classes, you get those, better parking spots. But if you know you're midday, 1:30, you're going to have to, fight or nights. So definitely watch that.
Also, another pro tip: right before you get to to park, you should have the UCF because that's how you track how many parking spots are available on each garage. And it was pretty common to have all the students all together in parking lot B, and then parking lot D where it was just empty. So that's a good thing to also track it and play it.
And what study techniques have you guys found most effective, or one that you've acquired over the course of your journey as a UCF student?
For me, I think it's going to really depend on the class and as an individual. I know for different classes, I've definitely taken in different techniques. So for my physics class, I would study nonstop for hours by myself in my room, but I love studying in a coffee shop and like around other people or in a library. So it's really going to be up to you, and you're going to have to kind of figure out what it is that you work with. I know for me, I kind of learned really early on that the earlier you study before your exam or your test, the better off it is for you. Cramming, at least for me, does not work. And I found that my results definitely came out a lot better when I was studying ahead of time. And that's something that I didn't do in high school. So coming into college, when I learned that, it was a game changer.
I've also really utilized some studying apps. So I don't really do well if I sit down and try to study for an hour straight. I will pick up my phone, I'll go on TikTok, I'll check my messages on my laptop. I get super distracted. So there's actually an app that I just recently found, which is kind of bad. I'm a junior, so I just started using this. But really quickly, it's called Flora. And so how it works is you just set a little timer up, and then usually I just do 30 minutes. And then in that 30 minutes, you are growing a tree. That's the concept of the app. And so if you go on your phone and you exit out of the app, you kill your tree. So it keeps me from going off my phone because I don't ever want to kill my tree. And then by the end of your study session, you have a little virtual garden. It's really fun. And you can actually connect with other people on the app so you guys can grow a garden together. It's really fun. So I definitely recommend checking out different apps like that.
Wow, I need that. I mean, I'm not even a student anymore, and I need that. That's amazing.
It's so helpful, and it's so fun. I've grown blueberries and oak trees, and it's really fun.
All right. How big are class sizes, and are teachers easily accessible outside the classroom, especially during this past year when we were all working remotely because of coronavirus?
So for class sizes, they can get pretty big. For general classes, like your gen eds that everybody's going to be taking, it could be up to 300 to 400 kids. So those lecture halls are going to be big. But the teachers, all the professors have microphones so everyone can hear. There are 2 big screens with projectors so everyone can see what they're teaching. Teachers are always accessible before and after class. They have office hours every week so students can come in and ask any questions that they need or have. So teachers are really accessible. even through Zoom, professors are still having office hours set up during specific times, so students can join a Zoom session with the professor and ask any questions that they have. So even through virtual sessions, professors are still trying to keep up that access for students so they don't fall behind and don't struggle. So yeah.
Kind of to go off of this question as well, is the workload given by your classes overwhelming? How do you deal with that stress? Emily just had a great suggestion for dealing with stress, but do you find that any of your classes are really overwhelming? And if they are, what do you do?
I want to take this one.
Okay, go ahead, Oscar. You got it.
Thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. You go next. Well, I know for information technology, so there's a lot of technical stuff that I have not seen ever in my life. So it could get overwhelming quite quickly. So my best deal to cope with that is mostly asking for help to classmates, asking for help for tutors. UCF offer tutoring services for a lot of classes, so they help a lot with that. And of course, talking to the professor. Remember, the professor is the one grading, so he'll be the best advice when it comes to acing tests or homeworks or anything. So just asking for help, don't hesitate. I used to hesitate a lot in my first years because I thought like it was going to be like asking this kind of question, but actually everybody is always open and willing to help. So, and they actually want you because they also learn while answer your question. So definitely don't hesitate. Help, get from others, and you grow from that and they grow from that as well.
And what kind of jobs are available at UCF? I know we talked on internships, but what kind of jobs? Desiree?
Everything. Literally everybody works for UCF. And a lot of our higher ups, they were, UCF students just like us. So I would say, sometimes you could be an assistant, like an administrative assistant. You could be someone that works at the guest services in the student union. Event services, you can work in that. You could work, maybe at the arena or something like that. So they have student jobs for students all over, especially if you get work study. Work study gives you the option to, have a certain amount of hours with your course load, and it kind of regulates how many hours you can do, so you're not overwhelmed with like a 40-hour work week and 4 to 5 classes. So it's not overwhelming. So literally anywhere, the food places, or even just someone in the front desk of an office. So a lot of people work for UCF and graduate and come back and work for UCF. So you can tell the culture is here.
That was me. And all of these panelists joining us, they're students and they're student workers for UCF. So most of our students here are tour guides for UCF. So there, like Desiree said, there are a lot of job opportunities for our students on campus. Now, would you recommend the dining planned? And did you find yourselves eating on campus most of the time with all of the restaurants available? And could you also mention what restaurants we have on campus?
So for me, I didn't get the meal plan. I preferred just to cook myself and buy my own groceries. So I preferred that way, but it is all preference. So if you'd rather have that convenience of not having to worry about cooking, you can focus on your school, your social life, all that stuff. The meal plan is a great option. There are 2 dining halls on campus that are specifically for the meal plan. And then the restaurants on campus, we have things like Chick-fil-A, Domino's, Subway. We have a Gringos Locos. We have in the student union itself, we have wood chip sandwiches, a Hugh and Magoo's, a Steak and Shake, a Qdoba. There's a convenience store with a sushi shop in there. There's a Chili's in there. So there's a lot of options across campus. So even if you don't get the meal plan, there's still options for you to go get food on campus. So yeah.
You're good, Emily.
Okay, I was just going to add something really quickly. So I didn't have like a kitchen or anything when I lived on campus my freshman year. So the cool thing about the meal plan is it's pretty customizable. So I actually didn't get a real meal plan. I would just check our UCF mobile app that Oscar mentioned earlier, and I would check to see what the dining hall was serving that day and if it was something that I would actually enjoy and eat. So I would just upload money onto my UCF ID, and then I would just go swipe and maybe grab something for breakfast or something for dinner one night. So you're not completely locked into a huge meal plan and spending all kinds of money. It's, like I said, it's very customizable.
Right. And I'll add a point as well. As UCF students, we get a lot of discounts at a lot of places, specifically us. So even if you go like across the street, they'll be like, are you a UCF student? And you could get like, 20% off here, or you could use Pocket Points on your phone. It's an app on your phone where you're keeping your phone in your pocket. You're keeping, you're staying attentive in class, but you're racking up some points. You can go cash it in for ice cream, cash it in for a burger or something like that. And you can use those on campus, off campus. So that's definitely something to note. UCF has a lot of resources when it comes to just discounts in general. So, yeah.
What would you recommend in terms of scholarships to pay for college? As we all know, they're incredibly hard to win sometimes. But do you know any other ways to help pay for college? What have you done? What scholarships have you maybe received while being a student at UCF?
So for me, when I applied and I got into UCF, they actually gave me two scholarships, or two grants along with my acceptance, and I also have FAFSA, so I get the Pell Grant. And I haven't had to pay out of pocket for tuition my entire time at UCF. So whenever you do apply, you make sure you apply early, and you are automatically considered in for scholarships that are offered through UCF. And then if you're looking for specific scholarships to apply for yourself, UCF also has a thing called A2O, which means Access to Opportunities, which are scholarships that are posted through UCF that students can apply for. So if you're looking for more, you can definitely look on there as well.
Yeah, I think this question's kind of funny because today I actually applied to 4 scholarships. The Office of Student Financial Aid will also actually send you an email if you are available to apply. So I just got one. I'm opening up my email right now. I got one for the Hispanic Heritage Scholarship Award. So they'll let you know about awards that are open. And yes, they're very hard, but you'll also be surprised by how important to apply to them. So like Hector was saying, there is the ATO and they have lots and lots of scholarships on there. So you can go on there and find things that are you and just go ahead and apply for them, and you'll never know, like, you might get them.
And a lot of scholarships out there go unclaimed each year because students are not applying to them because they don't think that they're eligible. So please do your research because there is a lot of free money out there. Companies, businesses, schools, just organizations in the area, publics, places are looking to give money to students to go to college. So please do your research because you may be that lucky winner because you're the only one who applied for that scholarship and you met all of their requirements. So definitely do your research because there is going to be some free money out there. All right. What do you think are the best times during the day to take classes based on your own experience?
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm not a morning person, so I like to sleep in. So a majority, if I can take a class in the afternoon, I'm going to take the class in the afternoon. So I avoid morning classes like the plague. Of course, there's going to be times where you have to take a morning class, but yeah, I like being able to be awake, fully awake, and then go to my class. But again, it's all preference. So
I was going to say the exact opposite. I have found that I really enjoy morning classes. I like getting up and getting out and getting my day started. And then I have the entire day to just do some homework, go to work, do whatever I want to do. And I would definitely say that I think most students, I don't want to generalize, but I think most students have the attitude that Hector does. Morning classes can be really hard. I did have an 8:30 statistics class one semester. That was a little early for me, but campus is usually pretty slow in the morning. So that might be a good opportunity to have less people on campus.
My sweet spot is 9 a.m. You had enough time to wake up, get ready, and then go to class. You still learn and you still have the rest of the day all for you. So 9 a.m. is the trick.
All right. What housing facilities would you recommend for an incoming freshman?
I would definitely say I've always had a ranking in my mind, especially when it was the lottery system. So initially I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be in towers. Like I better get towers. I wanted towers so bad. And I was placed in Hercules in during my summer, coming in. And literally it was like just fine. It was safe, it was secure. Our amenities were just like literally awesome. We were right by the pool. The washer and dryer was like really close to my room, so I loved Hercules. I had an elevator. And then I also moved right after to Lake Claire. And I know Lake Claire is not a typical freshman dorm, but I had my own room. I only shared one restroom with one other person. And a lot of our international students come and are put in Lake Claire. And I say like my experience was so diverse. I had two roommates, one from like Australia and someone else from like another country, and they taught me so much about myself, so much about being a woman from a different country. It was amazing. So I would say literally anywhere you go, you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a great experience. But I would definitely recommend Towers, Lake.
Okay,
All right.
I guess I'll give my little spiel. So for me, I would say Libra. I lived in Libra for my first fall and spring semester, and it's a freshman only community. So there's two on campus, Libra and Apollo. And the style I lived in Libra, it was the pod style. So there's a community room in the middle, bunch of rooms around it filled with people. So it's a very communal experience. You meet a lot of people. I made friends with literally everybody in that pod. So if you want to make friends, that is a very easy way to do it. I love living in Libra, so that is usually what I recommend to people that are coming in as freshmen.
All right, Oscar, I think we got a question for you. Since you were a transfer student coming into UCF, how was that experience for you?
Sorry, wrong button. Okay. Well, coming as a transfer, it is quite shocking because you kind of become a junior, but you're a freshman in UCF. It's quite confusing, and you're already taking like classes that are like really related to your degree, and sometimes they have like you feel like they have high expectations of you because you came already from another institution, but it's nothing further from the truth. Like I thought I was a little behind from everybody because of whatever reason, because I didn't know the campus when I first started. But it was just like normal. Like everybody struggling the same way I was doing. Um, sure, you only spend 2 years at UCF, not 4, but you still get to like have the college experience at UCF. And if you're coming from a community college, you already have an easier transition to the higher education level. So it makes it a lot easier for you when you adapt to UCF. It also depends on what institution you come to. You come from. Like I came from Valencia College, which it was about like buildings, like that was about it. And when you come to UCF, you see like all these opportunities, all these buildings, all these people, all these resources, all these clubs, and it's just so much for you to grab. It's like a buffet, so you pick what you choose, what you like, and it is definitely a blast. It is a great experience. You get to take the full advantage of UCF more, and now that you come from another institution, it makes it a lot easier for you to realize the resources that UCF has to offer.
What are some of your favorite places to study? Where are some of your places to study on campus?
So for me, I really love studying at any of our coffee shops. So I usually go to Foxtail Coffee, which is a local coffee company, and we just happen to have one on campus connected to our bookstore. So I usually sit there. I know I spent way too many hours there drinking coffee my freshman year. So usually there or any of the Starbucks, Dunkin', Cafe Bustelos, any of those locations on campus.
I would definitely say the library. I know it's very typical, but the library, I know when I used to go when I had classes, because now I'm doing my internship, when I had classes, it would stay open until like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I know the hours are a little bit different now, but I work better in the evening time. I'm more efficient. Like I'm up. I'm literally a night owl. So I would stay and do my study hours during the night. And then also the all-night study as well. That is for, the people that like to stay up, or if you need a quick Scantron or, a quick printout or something like that. That's definitely, places that I like to study, or something like that.
Now, what is the most random dorm room item that you would recommend bringing that others may not think of? Oscar, I feel like you could come up with a good one for this.
I would say, if you ask me, I would say LED lights. For whatever reason, it just makes it more relaxing. You get to like accommodate yourself with different settings. Like I usually like to put yellow lights when I'm studying. I like to put lights when I'm watching movies. I like to put green lights when I'm playing games. So it kind of sets the mood and makes you feel like more comfortable in your space. So if you already have them, it's great. If you don't have them, get them. They're amazing.
Except in on-campus housing, because LED lights are not allowed. So in on-campus housing, just FYI.
So if you live on campus, you don't do that. No.
I was gonna say a lamp as well, because I know like a big light or something like that is, kind of distracting. But for you to feel home, comfortable, I know on campus you can't have like, the candles and the LEDs. So having just a nice warm lamp, and something like that, that's definitely a great feel. And then maybe something comfy, like a nice chair cover or a bean bag or something you can put off to the corner, so you're not always in the bed feeling kind of lazy and drowsy. You can separate yourself from sleep time and chill time. So when you're taking a study break, you don't automatically get in the bed and go to sleep. You can go in your bean bag or go, to your favorite chair and have a nice time just like chilling out, and then go back to whatever you're doing.
Going off of comfort, I don't know if this is allowed because I've never lived on campus, but a mattress topper is probably the biggest lifesaver. I love my mattress topper. I live by it. It definitely made me feel a lot more comfortable, and yeah, it just kind of opened up my space a little bit and made me feel like my bed is a place that I can actually like sit and be comfortable.
I was going to say really quickly, my freshman year, I lived in a shared room. I was in the suite style, so I shared an entire room with another girl. So there wasn't a lot of like space on the countertops or anything like that. So I would definitely recommend anything storage related. I used a hanging shoe organizer, and I put some shoes at the bottom, but then I also put like a hairdresser in there. I put some like extra lotion, some makeup, just because you don't have a ton of countertop space. So I actually really ended up enjoying my shoe organizer for things more than just shoes. So
I could give an example. For my freshman year, the question was random items, so this is pretty random. One of my roommates brought a chicken claw, and it was like a really great back scratcher. So I guess I would say that.
Okay. Interesting response. Now, what are some tips or advice that you could share with a freshman wanting to live on campus?
I think I would say it depends on where you end up living. If you live in a room by yourself, that might be a little bit different, and maybe someone who lived in apartment style could speak more on that. But like I mentioned, I did live in a shared room, and I have a younger brother, so I never had to share a room growing up. So I definitely learned how to set boundaries, and I found that I think I'm a pretty neat, clean person, and I absolutely adored my roommate, but sometimes she didn't take out the trash and she would leave her clothes everywhere. So I had to learn how to sort of set boundaries and say, hey, like maybe you take out the trash this time on your way out. So I loved living on campus, though. That was probably one of the highlights of my entire college experience, and I always recommend that everyone do it. I loved it.
If you're living in apartment style, I would definitely recommend making sure you get out sometimes, because when you are living with a roommate, even though you may not speak every 5 minutes, but you still have a like physical body there with you. And it's something about humans and like people being in our proximity that it makes us feel comfortable. So I can definitely say when I moved to Lake Claire and I was alone, that's when I really, really got heavily involved because I was so lonely. I am an extrovert. I love to talk. I love to interact. I thrive over social interaction. If you're an introvert, disregard this little spiel. But definitely I was yearning for, oh my gosh, I want some girlfriends to go out with, or oh my gosh, I really miss going weightlifting with the guys. Like, why can't I I'm just so bored here in this room. So I really think like if you're living alone, you start, reaching out, go out to meet your roommates or meet the people, your suite mates is what they call them, around you. So.
All right. What is the best way to ensure that you can trust your roommate and that they don't take any of your belongings?
Because someone has experience maybe, but I think the best thing to do is to have a roommate agreement and have it early. So when get to know each other a little bit, but also kind of sit down and have a conversation about what you expect of each other. I know that I've learned that I should probably do that with my roommates, so we did that this semester, and it's really helped us feel a little bit more comfortable in our space.
Yeah, and living on campus, your RA is most likely going to come to you guys and try to get a roommate agreement set like early as possible in the semester, as soon as you move in. So that's going to be a conversation that's going to be had early in your time living together. So once you get past that knowing each other stage or getting to know each other stage, then you start setting boundaries with your RA, or you could do it on your own too. So, yeah.
And in on-campus housing, the drawers or the dressers, they do lock, and we do have options for the private rooms as well, where you can actually close your individual bedroom door, lock it, and then you can walk into the hallway and then walk out of the apartment style or residence hall. So there's a couple options for locking up your items that you are, not wanting to be touched or anything like that. But in those private rooms, you can actually lock your door and no one else will have access to it but you. And the RAs in case of emergencies. Now, I don't believe any of you are in honors or lead, but are any of you in honors and lead? Do you have a preference? Do you do both of them? And then questions about the living learning community.
So I can answer for lead. I was a part of the Lead Scholars Academy. I didn't do honors. I really did enjoy my time in lead though. It's just a 2-year leadership program. You take a 2-credit class every semester. I really enjoyed it because it was very psychological based and I am a psych major. So we learned a lot about different leadership styles. There's lots of opportunities for service hours. You do get a $200 stipend every semester, and you also get early registration for all of your classes. I think one of the biggest perks is definitely just the networking that's involved. It's a very close community. For lead, you do get to live in Neptune. That's one of the living learning communities that's available. Unfortunately, I did not live in one of the LLCs my freshman year, but I found that almost all of the kids who were in my lead class did live in the LLC together. There's actually a retreat that you can go on before the semester even starts as a freshman in lead. So I would recommend living in the LLC. You do get to have your own room, and it's just a really great way to get to know everyone. And it's a very close community.
For honors, I believe the honors live in the towers. So if you're trying to choose between which one to do, you might want to factor in which campus housing you would want to live in as well.
And in terms of the living learning communities, we did have one of our other student ambassadors live in the out-of-state student mentorship living learning community. And we unfortunately no longer have that available, but he loved it, being a part of that living learning community, because he got to be with other students that were out of state, other students that were in the same situation. And that's how the other living learning communities are for lead, honors. We've got a lot of different options for that. So if you're contemplating it, there's a lot of benefits to living in the living learning community. How does the difficulty of the coursework compare to high school and community college when you're at UCF or at a university?
Well, I can do from high school to college. I was a huge procrastinator in high school. That kind of carried over to college. It didn't really work out for me in some of my classes, so I had to adjust really early on. So there's definitely going to be a lot more work to do. It's going to be a lot harder, but you just have to adjust, actually study, plan out your week, what you have to get done, things like that. And once you get a routine and you have a good studying habits, things like that, it gets a lot easier. So it's just about building those good habits, and the work won't seem as strenuous and hard. It's still going to be hard, but it won't be as bad. So I would say that.
I could speak for community college. Based on my experience with it, I would say that the biggest difference that you feel is the much bigger setting, but mainly because of UCF, it's a big school. You switch from classes from 30 people to like up to 150. So that could be a little shocking at first. But once you see the other side of the spectrum, there you have people there who's willing to help you, who's studying with you the same thing, who might be struggling the same thing that you're doing. So there's lots of potential for you to not only make friends, but also make classmates that could help you out throughout your coursework. So that's a lot too. And when it comes to community college and college or university, big universities, they have a lot more resources too. So UCF had insanely more, and you get to definitely make it a lot easier for you to study. You got more office hours, you get more help. So it could be a little more heavy on the material, but there's also more resources for it.
All right, we have time for just a few more questions. You all have had really, really great questions tonight, so thank you so much. I'm going to have to steal some of these for our student panels that we have on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock, because these have been really, really good questions. So my next question to you all is, what is an opportunity that UCF has provided you that you're glad that you took?
So for me, I'm always excited to answer this question because the biggest opportunity that I've been able to get is actually my study abroad. So I will be studying abroad with my international business minor next spring in Vienna, Austria. So this was something coming to college I didn't think I was going to have the opportunity to do. I didn't think I was going to have the budget for it, but UCF has a lot of resources when it comes to it. So when you're studying abroad, the tuition you pay for is actually UCF tuition. So any scholarships that you have might apply to that. So I have bright futures, and so my tuition for my study abroad is basically covered. And so I'm really honored and just like very excited that I've been able to do this opportunity through UCF and be able to go abroad.
I would like to take a stab at this one. I would say just generally my admission to the university. Coming in, my GPA was great. My test scores were just average. And coming in a freshman, it is so competitive. And initially I was rejected. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And one day I was checking the website again, because I really wanted to go to UCF, and it said pending. And pending was literally what made my heart stop. I was like, oh my gosh, they're reconsidering me. And they saw something in me. They saw my work ethic. They saw my transcripts. They saw my resume as a high school student. And they said, okay, we're going to take this young lady and we're going to vet her for the university. So they put me in the SOAR program, as I stated when I first started the call. And literally, we took 2 classes and we had some peer mentorship. We had, seminars to go to. We had a good set schedule, and we had mentors guiding us along the way. And when you pass that program, you are admitted to the fall. And I will say that opportunity I will never forget, because literally when you look at the standards of UCF, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is like the stars in the sky. So I really say, like, no matter what, reach for the stars, because you'll land in the sky. So I really appreciate UCF for giving me the opportunity and being so graceful and admitting all of my SOAR classmates, because we are about to graduate now together. So yeah, we had the SOAR and the Pegasus program. So I'm not sure if you guys will have to worry about that with COVID and everything like that, but that was definitely an opportunity I will never forget. So.
All right. Does anyone have any regrets? If you had to do all of this over, would you? What would you have done differently? Any regrets? No regrets, Desiree. No regrets?
I can say that I would definitely come to UCF again. I love the school. The thing I would do different is getting more involved early on. I focused more on my academics strictly and my social life and actually outside of the classroom getting involved early on in my UCF career. So that is one thing I would definitely change if I could do it over again. Definitely get involved. It expands your resume, makes you look better, and gives you more experience moving forward. So I would definitely say that.
I wouldn't change a thing. I came here. I joined 3 organizations when my first fall semester. I chaired a pageant. I did a pageant. Like, I had a great time. I wouldn't change like a thing.
Do like Desiree, please. That's the way to go.
Time management, though.
All right. My final question to you all for tonight is going to be, what is some advice that you can provide our students that are joining us today that, you learned along the way being a student at UCF?
My biggest thing is, if and when you come to UCF, use the resources that we have here on campus. There are tons and tons, and I'm still learning, and I'm here about all the resources that we have for students, and for free, and I mean free. We have the gym, we have CAPS, which is counseling and psychological services. So if you're ever stressed out or need someone to talk to, you have free sessions there. You have the medical center. There's so many resources, and it's all applicable to you. But use them while you're a student, because the second you graduate, you no longer have them. So make sure that you're using them.
I think the biggest advice I could give to people is it gonna be just like, there's so much people in the UCF. There's so much people studying the same thing you're doing or involved in the same things that you want to be. So don't be shy to ask them questions. Don't be shy to ask for help. Don't be shy to ask for resources. That's all there for you. So sometimes like you feel discouraged asking questions because you feel like it's a dumb question, but there is no dumb question at UCF. And I learned that the hard way. Like, it took me a little long, so I'm telling you guys now, like, don't hesitate. The simplest question, it's still a good question, and I guarantee a lot of people have that too. So maybe you ask this today and you will help someone out tomorrow.
Anyone else?
I would just say explore. Just explore the campus. We have a huge campus. It is gorgeous. I go to other campuses and I'm ready to come home. And I would say explore organizations, explore, maybe some different classes if you're not decided on your major. Explore, because UCF is the place to do it. We literally have, if you want it, we have it. Or if we don't have it, there's an opportunity for you to create it. And I feel like other campuses may not have that opportunity. But with the leadership that we have and where we are going, I have no reservations with highly recommending UCF, especially if you're exploring the university and all it has to offer.
What a great note to end on. Wow. Thank you, Desiree. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight for our student panel and for our virtual open house. So thank you so much. And thank you, panelists, for answering with such great questions, or great answers to our great questions. But thank you all so much for joining us. And if you have any questions at all, please let us know. Call us, email us, make an appointment to meet with an admissions counselor. We can always link you with one of our students that are joining us today. So thanks again, and have a great rest of your night. Go Knights and charge on.